Price your location. Okay.
I spies London. Good night, LinkedIn. Good night.
Good
You know the
night.
drill.
LinkedIn Live and Lennon and Jared.
Thank you very much. What is
She
up,
gone.
folks? Yeah, she gone. She have dinner to eat.
Right.
She's eat real slow. Like Ants could probably get any food for the child as eat slow, boy.
Right.
Jeez.
Right.
Good night, folks.
Hold up.
Yeah.
Right. Let me take that off. We should be back right now. Yeah, we should be good right now.
Good night, folks. You know, we appreciate the love one time. Lyndon, can't you believe, my friend, we are already at June 30th.
Yeah, boy.
Like,
half
yo.
year, boy. Half year. Good night, Anne Marie on Instagram. And who we have? We have anybody else on LinkedIn as yet? But yeah, we are half year, boy.
The LinkedIn crew is here. The LinkedIn crew is here. Hold on. Let me just shout out for everybody could see the shirt.
Vaccinated and ready to fit.
That's right. Thank you, Bespoke by JMC.
Yeah.
You know, Shorty Rock, how are you? Good night. Jamie, good night. Yeah, so here's the thing. We are at the end of the month. Hey, Candace, we are at the end of the month. And tonight we're just going to recap how awesome the first 6 months of 2020 were. What were some of the lessons that we learned?
Okay.
What was some of the, and that means the good and the bad. And then we could just talk about, I think, what are some of the key things to make us like win? Like, what are some of your plans to win for 2021, the rest of 2021, Lyndon? What are some of your ideas?
Let's start.
What some nuggets you could share?
Let's start between January to now, right? So, coming out of last year, I think for me, having the optimism that this year was actually going to be somewhat better was important, right? And this was being optimistic without having any real tangible things in our hands, right? Well, I should say in my hands. Right. And one of the challenges that I had in the beginning was, of course, I had a lot of customers who were ready to start into the year, but of course, they themselves had some cold feet, and they actually staggered. So they didn't start until March, which was a real big hit. So I didn't really start to see any sort of proper business until what we would consider Q2. Right. However, of course, in our rule, because again we don't have the standard salary that's coming in, we can't roll over, right? So what I had to do within that time was find ways to stay relevant. And then, of course, the whole thing with the COVID and the escalation rates and everything else and Easter, blah, blah, blah. So all of those things were realities. But staying true to what that goal was, JB, even though I wasn't able to hit the target that I was looking for the half year, right? I was still actually able to do pretty well as it relates to finding some really key opportunities that started in Q2. We're supposed to go down the road for a few months. Well, so I think coming out to everything, like I couldn't start having the conversation without stressing on some of my realities starting the year and how hard it was, but not giving up and making certain switches as it relates to, okay, this is not going to happen the way that we're looking at it. This customer may come in later on. Who else could we go after? And as you know, that I picked up someone to work with me from Jamaica. So we started to do some work in that Jamaica space as well. So it has been a journey. It hasn't been easy, but I am seeing the fruits of that labor as the most I could say as it relates to that. So the first half of the year has not been bad, but it's nothing for me to cry about either. What about you?
Nice. Well, first of all, for everybody who's tuning in, let us know what were some of your best moments for the year so far. What were some of your lessons that you learned so far for the year? Overtime, TT, good night. Lyndon, for me, I think it's almost when you're supposed to not say it. And I remember laughing because I was with one of my clients and I said it to many people. I was like, if you thought 2020 was bad, I was like, 2021 is a year where it's going to be cutthroat.
Feel it, yeah.
But I realized how I said it may have come across wrong, but it was still accurate for this main reason. I meant it in the sense of we couldn't sit still. You couldn't not do nothing and expect something to happen.
You were putting them on notice.
Yeah, because a lot of them sat down still And a lot of people was like waiting. I was like, you can't wait. You have to act. So let me know. Hit us a heart. So hit us a light bubble stuff if you're watching us on LinkedIn or Instagram. And I mean, let us know. Were you active or did you stand still for the first half of this year? I'd love to know. Right? Yeah. Give us a yes or no or one. Just give us some signal. But to me, I think what led a lot of people to survive was the fact that they didn't stay still. And I think that was the key thing. I think for me, I was fortunate because early on in the year, a lot of big deals happened, which I was grateful for. But it legit was things I was working since like 9 months before in 2020.
Right.
So and we always talk about this. So let's share this first info. In order to survive, you must have a balanced pipeline. Nathaniel, good to hear you were active. Like that's my first thing. And your balanced pipeline comes from prospecting effectively.
Consistently,
you have to understand.
Yep.
Thank you for the light bulbs. You have to understand what products or services you have that you could get in and out your process quickly, and what others are going to take time and to constantly work it. Like I still have 2 new big deals in the pipeline that I want to close before the end of the year, and I have all my other small stuff that's going on. Like you must have some balance. It's super, super important.
Yeah. You know what's interesting with that too, right? And again, for those that's listening from on the entrepreneurship side, and for the sales professionals who are with your organizations and stuff like that, remember that you are entrepreneurs too. Even though you're under the umbrella and you have this employee title, you are you're in sales. You're an entrepreneur. All right.
Yep.
We have to be willing to think quickly on our feet, and try new creative ideas and stuff like that. I think one of the things that really helped me was not sticking too much. When I realized that one of my customers, listen, let me give it to you like this, right? Customer said, "Hey, send me an invoice for the deposit," right? And then while I was preparing to send that to them on the weekend, I got another email on the Monday afternoon saying, "Lyndon, put a hold on that because of XYZ," because they started to see certain things with the upticks in the infection rates and stuff.
Yeah.
And that stopped. And I was like, yo, don't tell me this is happening again, right? So what I did is that I said, you know what, let me start reaching out to let me bring one of the strategies that I had for this year forward. And that is where we started to work with, where I started to reach out to the higher education institution. And that's where I am now. I mean, to the point where there's one school I'm looking at onboarding in, let's say, about a few days' time. And then also there's another school that's already onboarded, and we're doing some work with them over the last 30 days.
So if you're watching us live, give Lyndon some love. If you're watching us live, give Lyndon some love. Throw some hearts up for that. Because that is an example of how we pivot. Because even like Anna Marie here, she's talking about the fact that she actually moved forward with her business in November and hit the ground running.
That's good.
And I know a lot of you, if you are an entrepreneur who started this year, let us know as well, because that is a big thing for a lot of you. I think that was literally like holding your breath moment for a lot of people. And I think that is one thing that's absolutely fantastic. So congrats to everybody who started their own business. Even if it is that you find like you might be struggling or you find you're still pushing, trust me, this is all the fun part of it. This is how you start off getting into the business, right? And congratulate yourself for making the jump and understand that a lot of people want your value. So shout out to Marlon Hines. Marlon was actually saying the golden rule, it's important to keep filling the pipeline.
Yes. Yeah. Consistently
filling the pipeline.
Consistently filling the pipeline. And that kind of goes back to I know it was something that you were preaching to the team, whether it was a year or 2 years ago, to your base. Just try to look for at least one lead a day. That has always been one of our little quiet mantras. And that's what I try to do. I try to find one lead a day. I'm always looking somewhere to see where I could find. And that's kind of why I started the little video series on prospecting, because there's so many different areas that you could find business. But you have to dedicate the time to look for it, and it would actually work out for you. I think the other part of your question as to forecast for the second half of the year. I will say this, right? Once you understand that the group of customers that you are pushing to work with is ready to move forward, then you have to start putting yourself in place to take advantage of that. And the reason why I'm saying that is because we've had 2 instances of some severe lockdowns and the SOE. You have customers who go through different phases, right? They get all of this anxiety, and then they get fearful and stuff like that. And you have to be ready to kind of nurture your customer through those phases. And you always have people who are in a stage where they are going to say, you know what, to hell with this. I know the reality is the pandemic, but I have to run my business through this thing. And if you could align yourself to show up and guide them through, to show them, okay, well, I actually need Jared's support to do this, or yes, I need to look at. Listen, we can't do anything with purchasing the car now, but let me at least reach out to Candice to start putting things in place. Candice, shout out to Candice here on LinkedIn, right? Because you do have customers who will still be doing some of the research on the back end. So when the time reaches, right, they would just be ready to activate. I would always give this story because it's such a big encouragement. One of the customers I'm supporting right now, quote unquote, in the education sector, we know that education has taken one of the hardest hits in the pandemic. What they are doing is that they are expanding. Now that you might find that sounding crazy, they are willing to go. They're looking at going all around the Caribbean, and they're asking people for office space. They want to get space for this, space for that, space for the food. And the gentleman was saying this is the time where we have to grow. I agree. So by the time everybody else raises their head, boom, 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 you're seeing a whole lot of, that brand is out there, So they're doing the groundwork now, and I shit you not, that because we're doing the outreach for them, the response rate has been excellent.
So can I give 2? Where did that pen go, boy? I want to take note of this because I'll create it as a post after. I wanna mention 2 key things which you say there. So one, for everybody who's waiting until, especially like in Trinidad, everybody who's waiting for the lockdown to be over, that's the biggest mistake. You need to start doing stuff now. What I would also say to complement what Lyndon is saying is that, and this is to people who in automotive, people who sell physical products, or who have things like I have clients in real estate, etc. Mm-hmm. When they open the doors and they say you can start going back out, trust me when I tell you, you need to create massive amounts of content.
Yeah.
Because if you get locked down again, a lot of you were stagnant because you had nothing to share. Mm-hmm. So if you're in the car industry, you need to have a video on every model, every color.
Yeah.
Real talk. If you're a real estate agent, every single house possible. If you're a person doing your content outdoors, get your outdoor space, carve out time every single day, and do your content. You cannot miss out on this opportunity right now. Mm-hmm. Because, and I will sound bad, here's my prediction. I'll go on the record and saying this, right? Mm-hmm. Where's this pen? All my pens disappear. I'll go on the record and saying this, right, Lyndon? We will open up, and then in about 6 to 8 weeks, the Delta variant gonna hit us.
Oh gosh! I'm rebuking that. But I understand where you're coming from.
I am hoping because the borders will be open. It's inevitable.
Yes. No, but I understand exactly why you're saying that. Yeah.
But the thing is, we will go into a temporary lockdown. And my question is, did you work hard in these next 30 to 90 days to push and get everything done? Were you selling? Were you prospecting? Were you filling your pipeline?
Mm-hmm. I think
like that to me.
I think too. I mean, the third time around, we should be a lot better prepared. I mean, it's the third time, right?
Yeah.
So we should be a lot better prepared as to how we want to sell in this space. I think Jamie is saying something, your eyes are better than mine, JB, if you want to catch it on Instagram.
Hold on.
She's saying,
don't say that. Anna Marie is also saying, I always tell my clients that they don't have to stop creating content. They have to reframe. Yeah.
Right. Let's go further up too. Like Jamie was saying something higher up. She was saying 2021 was rough. To start, thought I needed a bush bath.
2021 thought I needed a bush bath, but we kept pushing forward. Yep, and things have turned around. Yeah. You see, all right, listen, we in sales, honestly, customers are waiting for us to say it. Like the customers, very few persons are going to come to buy because they have that self-confidence. We are sales professionals, especially in those type of industries. We are the ones who are giving our customers confidence, and they have to guide them on that aspect. And if it is that you stop putting out content and they start whatever the word is, they start going in and start putting out stuff, they see that as a sign as not to buy.
Yeah. I think us keeping the energy and drive forward is a real plus. For our business, And you see what it does to it. It shows that the industry is active. Like if you stop doing anything, right, then you're closed until further notice.
I think there was the head of fashion TT in Trinidad said it as Lisa Marie Daniels. She was saying not being active on social now is like having a physical store but your doors closed. People eventually think you're never going to open.
Yeah.
Good night, Kim. How are you? Yes.
Yeah, closed until further notice. And that is what we cannot afford to be. Especially now. I think it's also a good opportunity. Again, I am seeing it. I'm getting a lot more comfortable in the space in terms of really maximizing on the network. You know, how you want to use Instagram, how you want to use LinkedIn, how you want to use YouTube. I think I was sharing the other day that I'm seeing an uptick in YouTube, not just in Trinidad. Well, from certain videos, not just in Trinidad, but around where people are asking questions. So again, use the opportunity to spread, to get yourself out there on the digital platform. So while you're in, put stuff out, and then while you're out, start creating stuff so that you'll get more people to get them to come into you and stuff like that. So
let me say this as well, because this is something I found interesting. I was actually talking about this. I can't remember who I was chatting it with. I'm not actually telling people like to be on LinkedIn, to be on social media, etc. But my issue is that don't say you don't want to do social media, but you're not doing anything else great. If you understand what I mean.
That's correct.
Like you're not cold calling great, you're not asking referrals great, like but you don't want to do anything else. So you don't want to learn anything new, but you're still not perfecting the craft that you're on now.
Anything, yes, correct.
Right?
Correct.
So Kim, good night. Kim, let us know how your 2021 was so far. What were some of your big lessons? What was your learnings? That's what we're talking about tonight, folks. We're talking about the things that made an impact and also just sharing from our inside what we think is going to happen for the rest of 2021. Let me throw this in the mix. What's going to happen for the rest of 2021, Gail, is speed. I have actually made a commitment myself. I found I wasn't responsive. I found that to customers. So like I have a great discussion with them, and sometimes I'll take too long to send the proposal. I'll take too long to send the invoice. I'm making a concerted effort in less than, I would say, 8 hours to deliver those things.
Right.
Like, because I think speed is the key thing. And I don't mean it in the sense of you're rushing your work. I think in the sense of if it is that you have a control of the situation, which I think is important, that if it is the client is listening to you and they're on your rhythm and on your wavelength, you could use that momentum to get you straight into the sale faster than the competitors who they consider it.
Yeah, I think too, because you're saying that, you may also have customers who are ready to move forward because they've been kind of holding back on certain things, and when they do get in, or when they do have the ability to move forward, they just want to get, hey, how soon can you send me this stuff because we need to start now, So I agree with improving on turnaround times. I mean, that's something for me to pay attention to as well. But again, if it is that we have to look at certain things, so one best practice for me is looking back at my so I have a few proposals that they are deferred. Let me say it like this: they're not lost. They are deferred, legitimately deferred. Lyndon, give us some time. Let us talk in let us talk in August. So I am preparing myself to have that conversation in August, if not sooner, right? So those are some of the things that I've been doing. I've actually set that up as a section in the CRM. That's one of the stages in the thing. So when I could say, show me all the customers that's deferred so far for 2021, I'll get that list and know what the strategy is from there.
Yeah. When I was watching my pipeline too, I saw a couple opportunities I would defer have to follow up on.
Yes,
Gail is saying the pandemic seems to make people moving really slow. So if you can move faster than the competition, that's great. Marlon, I saw you say relationships. Expand on that for us.
Yeah. So look, going back and looking at your deferred, and now also paying attention to a couple of things, right? So like I've been paying attention to the automotive industry a little bit, and also from the real estate industry, based upon two conversations I've had recently. And I think that there are a number of things that they could actually be doing, both from the sales rep side and from the business side. And one of those things is really not so much so using the electronic media, but really and truly not kind of expanding on how do you do more of your virtuals, and how, as a matter of fact, how can you use the platforms to find more people, right? Like, so from one of the prospecting tips that I'm putting together for the video, and I'll share it here, that, okay, pay attention to vacancies. There have been a lot of vacancies on Caribbean Jobs, Jobs TT, Trinidad Jobs, and stuff like that, right? Those are opportunities. So if you haven't been paying attention to vacancies on those areas, because remember, a couple of things can be happening there, right? And we're talking about at different levels. So I've been looking at the different levels of vacancies from sales reps, customer service, middle managers, sales managers, customer service managers, all the way up to vice presidents. All of those people might need a car, right? Or all of those people, and then based upon the portfolios and the titles that they have, all of those people may need to get services based upon whoever is on this live. If you're providing project management support, or you have a software solution, or healthcare, all of those things I'm calling out now are actual vacancies on those respective websites.
Yeah.
So your role is to do the research from there, and then figure out who fits you best and start prospecting now. Because by the time they fill the position and the person comes in, you can now figure out how do you now make your outreach, how do you do your introduction, figure out what is it that they need, whether it's a car or insurance or whatever it is. But again, use all of those things to help you build on your prospecting efforts.
Correct. Marlon is saying relationship building. So my thing is, Marlon, that is an absolute excellent point. Let's figure out some ways to work smart on this. So number one, figure out a way to have, if you don't have it through your CRM, to email your customers in different buckets. So in other words, we all have different types of customers, probably based on the products or services, the revenue, the volume that they do. Figure out a way where you could constantly share insight, not information that they know. Share insight that could actually help them out, so that it allows you to stay in constant communication. Like something I observed, I think I was telling you this, Lyndon, like even though when we were looking at some of the open rates on the emails that we were sending out for the conference, like some of it will low depending on the day or whatever, but I remember talking to people and they said, yeah, I've been seeing the emails. And I don't want you all to underscore that importance. So somebody might not open an email, but they're seeing the email. Like that. So like unless they have unsubscribed, I still use that as something warm that I could use to engage a customer. And that is one of the ways they could work. Yeah.
And it's funny too, like them not opening the emails is a strategy in itself. So don't take that as a negative. Yep. There's a way that you could say, hey, I realize you haven't been opening the emails. Let me know if it's been trash. And if you need to, or what should I do to send you more? There are many different little strategies that you can use to re-engage customers that have not been engaging. Because yes, even abroad too, I've been on a couple webinars that there's a company called Validity. Yeah. They have been talking about the state of email. And they have been speaking about your open rates. But those are the open rates from on the email marketing side. What I do sometimes is that I flip it, and the customers who have not been opening, I change the way that I send the email, and I actually get them to open it and give me back a response. Again, as I say, there's a strategy behind everything, guys. So don't just do one thing and say, well, don't just do one thing and then say, well, it's not working out, so let me try something else.
Yeah.
There's too many strategies in sales.
Like, and it's even something I posted earlier this week. Like, my strategy when I was in DHL, that was 2012. That was the first time I had a CRM. And I would email customers every week. You know how much business I'd brought me in? Consistently for 1 year, I sent out 52 emails to my client base.
Yeah, I think I saw you saying that. You said you at least do one thing right, or do one thing consistently.
At least do one. Because the thing is, here's what happened, right? The first time I did it, the amount of my phone rang for the entire day because people didn't like the things I was sharing. People didn't know, so I was starting conversations, and I think a lot of us in sales are we forget that factor. Like there are a lot of things you think your customers know, and they have no clue, and that could start the And actually, here's a fun tip: imagine if you send an email out to a customer and the email bounces back. That lets you know that person has left the job.
Yes, correct.
That's an opportunity to reach. No, but that's an opportunity to reach out, and also to depend on the relationship. You could find out where that person went. Maybe that's a good referral to get in the door of somewhere that it wasn't in before.
That's correct.
There's so much opportunity out there. There's so many ways now, I think, that we could succeed. And I'll reiterate this to everybody who might be thinking negative. Yes, the pandemic is affecting us on a macro level worldwide. But on a micro level, there are lots of businesses and individuals who are thriving off of what is happening. One of the tips you'll give you this year, again, a lot of you all are saying are adjusting your ICP. You are not adjusting your ICP. Your ICP is still 2019.
Tell them, can you just tell them what that means? ICP.
ICP is the ideal customer profile. So in other words, who's best suited to buy your products and services? You have not adjusted. You have not made those changes to identify who that new person is.
Yeah.
Right? And you're going after a dead horse in some cases.
Yep.
Which I want to bring up. My next favorite thing, no scripts are factor making a comeback. You need to focus on scripts. Scripts is life.
You said you know for a fact.
Yeah, I know for a fact.
Yeah, definitely.
Scripts are important now.
I don't know why people gave up on it in the first place. You know me, I steadfast with certain things, and even if I have the script in front of me, I don't have to use it. But sometimes I just like to know that it's there and it's relevant. So I've seen a lot of the conversations. I know Keenan says no script because you're not. Again, everybody has their own thing as to what they want to say, right? So I know that some professionals say that don't use scripts because the scripts doesn't identify the gap. In an instance like that, I would always say is how the script was written, because the script could be written to identify the gap. But
and it's based on the person's curiosity.
Yeah, it's also too how they're being taught to write certain things. I mean, if you have a certain level of IQ in sales, you can write a script to identify a gap. But he knows who he's speaking to and kind of thing, you know. So
correct.
But I believe that a script is important. I have seen customers that we've either written scripts for or shared scripts with. The scripts in itself has actually even helped the sales rep become a lot more confident because they're not trying to make up stuff in their head and fumbling and bumbling all over the customer or the call, you know. Even for me sometimes, again, I just like to have it open because it helps, right?
Yeah.
So
and it just lets you, don't forget to point. So shout out to Kim. Kim is in insurance, so she just started her journey this year in sales and insurance sales.
Yeah. Oh,
right.
Congrats
on making the move to the best profession in the world. Nothing happens until a sale is made.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the golden rule.
I thought you were going to say insurance is the best profession.
No. Sales overall is the best profession.
Okay.
It have different types of sales. We can't say one type of sale is better than the other. That is not fair. There's so many. But no, so I think when we look at what's happening for this year, as I tell you all, 1, learn a new skill. 2, keep on prospecting as often as you can. 3, as Marlon Taylor said, you need to keep in contact with your existing base. 4, I would tell you move and figure out ways you could speed up your process. 5, I would tell you redefine your ICP and understand who is your ideal customer.
Yeah, can I also give us a 5? I'll maybe give a 6th one.
Yeah,
which is I'll try to incorporate the 2 as one point. So Jared spoke about understanding a little bit about what's happening if you realize that the email address is wrong and he was sending certain things about the industry to his customer. That is called insight selling. So you're using certain insights to generate conversation and interest and start the conversation. So and you guys have a lot of insight. You all being the experts in your field, there's a lot of insights that's stored in your brain that you need to bring forward to the customer because they're not fully aware of it, right? And the other one too is putting yourself in the customer's shoes, right? So understanding, okay, based upon my last conversation with the client, where is it that they could actually be now? And by genuinely being curious to understand where is the customer so that you could understand, you could know, okay, so if it is that you're here, how can I help you move to that stage? It doesn't have to mean an immediate sale. It just means, how do I get them to move from where they are to this next point, because that next point can bring them one step closer to closing the deal with me. And you might be recognized as the person to move them forward because everybody loves help. So genuinely put yourself in the customer's shoes, be curious about where they are. That's how I start all stale conversations. I say, you know what, we had a conversation 6 months ago. I know that you said that you wanted to do X, but we didn't move forward. I'd love to know where you are now, and just to see if I can help you, maybe connect you with somebody. You just put it out there. You don't have to. Everything doesn't always have to be a hard sell.
And just everybody who's now joining us, we just recapping how good or what lessons were learned in the first half of this year, and just talking also as well, what are the things we need to do to make sure that the second half of 2021 shapes up to be even better. But let me ask, for those of you who are watching right now, what is your biggest challenge for this year? What is the biggest challenge for you you see going into the second half of the year?
I saw Shudel was saying, "Wow, such a great vantage point." I'm not sure what vantage point she was referring to, but I'll just say thanks.
Yes.
From either yourself or myself, based upon the point, because I'm sure that point went a while away,
Yeah. So let us know, and of course, we always like the hearts. That hit some hearts, hit some clap buttons, because those things that your friends and connections know that we live and we sharing knowledge.
As I see, so I'm seeing two entrepreneurs here, right? So shout out to Shannon from Barbados.
Hey, Shannon, boy.
And Jarion here from Trinidad and Tobago, and from where they sit from on the business side, I think the support that you guys would be able to give to your existing base in terms of the encouragement and everything else would be excellent. Just nurturing your existing base or doing certain things to attract customers by reassuring them about the future of business or why these things are so important to have it now. Again, those things don't have to be a hard sell, but I think that with everyone now recognizing being able to use platforms that are already built to at least get them started in whatever direction they want to go is important, or using, let's say, the expertise of Shannon to give them a platform that they can now get cracking with. That kind of thing is important. So shout out to those two guys and just keep nurturing and doing some great work with your customers.
Correct. Jaren is saying becoming and remaining more confident in myself. Jaren, the tips I would tell you is, number one, practice your craft more and more, and that will help your confidence. Find people, and here's what you can do. Find people who are in your industry on a global scale and see what they're doing, because a lot of times you realize, and Lyndon and I have seen it, that we are actually doing a lot of things that what international sales trainers are doing. People who are on the HubSpot level. So that would actually give you the confidence to know that you're on track and to actually push yourself harder. And honestly, too, if you can, get a mentor, even if it's a virtual mentor, just somebody online who is putting out content that you like and enjoy, and it's giving you that confidence every day. That's one of the things I recommend you do.
Yeah.
I know Anna is saying the challenge, finding new ways to prospect and engage. Anna, hold on. Didn't we on our call today come up with 3 specific scripts or types of content we could do to engage with your ICP? We came up with some fire stuff. I ain't bragging, but it was good. Like the conversation we had was interesting, and we were able to put something into like the mix. I can't wait when she drops it. It'll be real, boss.
Right. That's cool.
And of course, as we say, I think the only tip I forgot was if you need to figure out a content strategy. You need to make sure that you have content out there. So while you're sleeping, you need to make sure and have something that's speaking on your behalf while you're taking that nap or while you're in meetings.
Jamie, are you saying that not to take yourself too seriously or take yourself seriously? I think that's what you meant to say. Don't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah.
Enjoy what you do. Yes. Yeah.
Lyndon, you would agree, right? At every point in your sales, and again, let us know in the chat at every point in your sales, and especially for us as entrepreneurs, especially for us who incorporate with sales, there's sometimes a point where it could just be a week, it could even be a month, where for some reason you're in a lull and they can't figure out what's going on.
Yeah, it happens.
But if you keep moving, that's how, like James just said it, you kept moving and you got out of it, because I think it was Steve Harvey saying it, is like, if you're feeling like you're in hell, why are you staying there? You need to move.
Yeah.
So you need
I never heard that one. I'll definitely go look for that one.
Yeah, I have to look for the exact thing, because he was saying, some people saying, they feel like they're walking through hell, and he says, so why stop? You have to keep moving.
Keep moving to get out of it.
Yeah, so it might, if you're prospecting and it sucks, look at how you're saying your message, listening on some of your calls, record yourself talking, get better at it. But don't just stop what you're doing because you're going to lose out and not make business. You're not going to make money.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah,
so
man.
what else is in your world for the issue? What's some of the final things you're seeing as we wrap up?
I don't know. I think, honestly, I'm not seeing anything there that's extra, at least not right now. If I do see it, I'll maybe bring it forward during the course of the week or next week. But I think the goal for me would be continue doing what you're doing. If it's not bringing you the results, work on improving it. Figure out where the gaps are. And don't be afraid to ask for help and stuff like that. Just be open with what you think is working, what you think is not working. Do you know sometimes I might think something not working, I might share it with you or somebody else, and they say, but no, that working. It's like, oh, you serious? You know, that's how it's supposed to work. Oh, okay. Again. So yeah, man. So yeah, just share it and you know, see what kind of response or feedback they get.
And shout out to Anna Marie for the kind compliment. She's just saying we are her online mentor. So yeah, we appreciate that what we put out on a regular basis helps you. So that is always good to hear. But folks, as I say, we're wrapping up. I think how Lyndon ended it there was perfect. We can't control H1 is done. First half of this year is done. You're the only person who can control what's happening for the rest of the year. Yeah. Your actions are gonna determine what happens. So we are just wishing you the best because we know the best is going to happen for you. We can all be rock stars. There's opportunity for everyone.
Oh, big shout out. If any one of you have cousins, nieces, nephews, sons, daughters that's doing SCA tomorrow, wish you guys all the best. You all are not going to be having that headache anymore, especially if the mommy or the daddy. Right?
As real pressure boy.
You know, so I just wish your kids all the best tomorrow and that they pass for their first choice and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, fully agree. Fully agree. So have a good night, everybody. We'll catch you next week. It could be either Monday or Wednesday. Sometimes it's be kind of,
yeah.
Up and down first. Lyndon and I very random. Will it have a structure? Doubtful.
No, maybe not.
All right, folks. Have a good night.
All right, guys. Take care. Peace.